Experience in taking care of fruit trees in the home garden. Growing fruit trees in your home garden can be a rewarding and satisfying experience. However, it also requires careful attention and proper care to ensure that your trees are healthy and productive. In this article, we will explore some tips and techniques for caring for fruit trees in your home garden. Pruning. Pruning your fruit trees is essential for maintaining their shape, promoting healthy growth, and increasing fruit production. Prune your trees during the dormant season, and remove any damaged, diseased, or dead branches. Thin out the canopy to allow sunlight to reach the interior branches, and remove any branches that are crossing or rubbing against each other. Fertilizing. Fertilizing your fruit trees is important for providing the nutrients they need to grow and produce fruit. Use a balanced fertilizer that contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and apply it according to the manufacturer's instructions. You can also use organic fertilizers, such as compost, manure, or bone meal, to provide nutrients to your trees. Watering. Water your fruit trees deeply and infrequently to promote deep root growth and reduce the risk of overwatering. Water your trees when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil are dry, and apply water slowly to allow it to penetrate deeply into the soil. Use a soaker hose or drip irrigation system to deliver water directly to the roots, and avoid watering the foliage to prevent fungal diseases. Pest control. Pests can be a major problem for fruit trees, as they can damage the fruit and reduce yields. Use organic pest control methods, such as neem oil, insecticidal soap, or companion planting, to control pests and prevent infestations. Monitor your trees regularly for signs of pest damage, and take action promptly to prevent further damage. Disease control. Fruit trees are also susceptible to a variety of diseases, such as fungal infections, bacterial infections, and viruses. Use proper sanitation practices, such as removing fallen leaves and fruit from the ground, to prevent the spread of diseases. Use fungicides and other disease control products according to the manufacturer's instructions, and monitor your trees regularly for signs of disease. Harvesting. Harvest your fruit when it is ripe and ready, to ensure the best flavor and quality. Pick your fruit when it is firm and fully colored, and handle it carefully to prevent bruising or damage. Store your fruit in a cool, dry place, and consume it as soon as possible for the best flavor and nutrition. Winter care. Protect your fruit trees during the winter months to prevent damage from cold temperatures and frost. Wrap the trunks of young trees with burlap or tree wrap to prevent sunscald, and cover the roots with a layer of mulch to protect them from freezing temperatures. Prune your trees in the fall to remove any dead or diseased wood, and cover them with netting to prevent damage from birds and other animals. Sunlight. Fruit trees require plenty of sunlight to produce healthy fruit. Make sure to plant your trees in a location that receives full sun for most of the day, and avoid planting them in shaded areas or near tall buildings or trees that can block the sun. Soil. The soil in which you plant your fruit trees should be well draining and fertile. Test your soil to determine its pH level, and amend it with organic matter or fertilizer if necessary. Avoid planting your trees in soil that is too sandy, clayey, or compacted, as these conditions can hinder root growth and nutrient uptake. Mulching. Applying a layer of mulch around the base of your fruit trees can help to retain moisture in the soil, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Use organic mulches, such as wood chips, leaves, or straw, and apply them to a depth of 2 to 3 inches. Avoid placing mulch directly against the trunk of your tree, as this can lead to moisture buildup and pest problems. Thinning. Thinning your fruit trees can help to improve fruit quality and prevent damage from overloading branches. Thin out excess fruit during the growing season, leaving only 1 or 2 fruits per cluster or branch. This will allow the remaining fruit to grow larger and sweeter, and reduce the risk of branch breakage or disease. Support. Some fruit trees, such as apple and pear trees, may require support to prevent branches from breaking under the weight of heavy fruit. Use stakes or trellises to support the branches, and tie them gently to the support structure with soft twine or fabric. Pruning wounds. When pruning your fruit trees, make sure to clean and disinfect your tools between cuts to prevent the spread of disease. Make clean, smooth cuts at a 45-degree angle, and avoid leaving stubs or ragged edges. Apply a pruning sealant to large cuts to prevent moisture loss and disease entry. Timing. Timing is key when it comes to fruit tree care. Prune your trees during the dormant season, fertilize in the spring and summer, and water deeply and infrequently during the growing season. Harvest your fruit when it is ripe, and protect your trees during the winter months. Variety selection. Choose fruit tree varieties that are well suited to your climate and soil conditions. Consider factors such as chilling hours, disease resistance, and fruit quality when selecting your trees. Research different varieties and consult with local nurseries or extension offices for guidance. Pollination. Many fruit trees require cross-pollination to produce fruit. Make sure to plant compatible varieties of fruit trees in close proximity to one another, or consider using a pollinator tree to ensure adequate pollination. Pest prevention. Preventing pest problems before they occur is key to maintaining the health and productivity of your fruit trees. Use proper sanitation practices, such as removing fallen leaves and fruit, to prevent pests from establishing themselves in your garden. Use pheromone traps, sticky traps, or other insect control methods to monitor and control pests before they become a problem. Disease resistance. Choose fruit tree varieties that are resistant to common diseases in your area. Consult with local nurseries or extension offices for guidance on disease-resistant varieties. Cover crops. Planting cover crops around your fruit trees can help to improve soil fertility, prevent erosion, and suppress weeds. Choose cover crops that are well suited to your climate and soil conditions, and plant them in the fall or early spring. Seasonal care. Fruit trees require different care during different seasons of the year. Adjust your care routine accordingly, and stay informed about seasonal pest and disease risks. Monitor your trees regularly for signs of stress or damage, and take action promptly to address any issues. Training and shaping. Training and shaping your fruit trees can help to improve their productivity and appearance. Train your trees to a central leader or modified central leader shape, and prune regularly to maintain a balanced and open canopy. How to grow roses and care for beautiful flowers. Growing roses is a rewarding and enjoyable experience, but it requires careful attention and proper care to ensure that your roses are healthy and beautiful. In this article, we will explore some tips and techniques for planting and caring for roses to help you achieve a beautiful and vibrant display in your garden. Choosing the right location. Roses require plenty of sunlight, so choose a location that receives at least 6 hours of direct sunlight per day. Avoid planting your roses in areas that are prone to strong winds or excessive moisture, as this can damage the plants and reduce flower production. Soil preparation. Prepare the soil in advance by digging a hole that is twice as wide and deep as the root ball of your rose plant. Amend the soil with organic matter, such as compost or well-rotted manure, to improve soil fertility and drainage. Mix in a slow-release fertilizer to provide nutrients to your roses over time. Planting. Plant your roses in the early spring or fall when the weather is mild. Remove the rose plant from its container and gently loosen the roots. Place the plant in the hole, making sure that the crown of the plant is level with the surrounding soil. Backfill the hole with soil, tamp it down gently, and water thoroughly. Watering. Water your roses deeply and infrequently to promote deep root growth and reduce the risk of overwatering. Water your roses when the top inch of soil is dry, and apply water slowly to allow it to penetrate deeply into the soil. Use a soaker hose or drip irrigation system to deliver water directly to the roots, and avoid watering the foliage to prevent fungal diseases. Fertilizing. Fertilize your roses regularly to provide them with the nutrients they need to grow and produce flowers. Use a balanced fertilizer that contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and apply it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Avoid over-fertilizing your roses, as this can lead to excessive foliage growth and reduced flower production. Pruning. Prune your roses regularly to promote healthy growth and flowering. Prune your roses in the early spring, removing any damaged, diseased, or dead wood. Thin out the interior branches to allow sunlight to penetrate the plant, and remove any crossing or rubbing branches. Deadhead spent flowers to promote the growth of new blooms. Disease and pest control. Roses are susceptible to a variety of diseases and pests, such as black spot, powdery mildew, aphids, and spider mites. Use organic pest control methods, such as neem oil or insecticidal soap, to control pests and prevent infestations. Monitor your roses regularly for signs of disease, and take action promptly to prevent further damage. Mulching. Apply a layer of organic mulch around the base of your rose plants to conserve moisture, suppress weeds, and regulate soil temperature. Use materials such as wood chips, shredded leaves, or straw, and apply them to a depth of 2 to 3 inches. Avoid placing mulch directly against the stems of your roses, as this can promote fungal diseases. Winter care. Protect your roses during the winter months to prevent damage from cold temperatures and frost. Mulch the base of your rose plants with a layer of straw or leaves to insulate the roots and protect them from freezing temperatures. Prune your roses in the fall to remove any dead or diseased wood, and cover them with netting to prevent damage from birds and other animals. Variety selection. Choose rose varieties that are well suited to your climate and soil conditions. Consider factors such as disease resistance, flower color and shape, and fragrance when selecting your roses. Research different varieties and consult with local nurseries or extension offices for guidance. Deadheading. Deadheading is the process of removing spent flowers from your rose plants. This not only keeps your roses looking neat and tidy, but it also encourages more blooms to develop. Deadhead your roses regularly by cutting the stem just above the first set of healthy leaves. Training. Proper training and pruning can help to shape your rose plants and promote healthy growth. Train your roses to a desired shape by tying the stems to a trellis or stake, or by gently bending them into shape. Prune your roses in the early spring to remove any dead or diseased wood and to thin out the plant. Disease prevention. Many rose diseases can be prevented by practicing good sanitation habits in your garden. Remove any fallen leaves or flowers from the base of your plants to prevent the spread of disease. Use fungicides and other disease prevention methods as needed to keep your roses healthy. Pest control. Roses can be prone to pests such as aphids, spider mites, and thrips. Monitor your plants regularly for signs of infestation and use natural or chemical methods to control pests as needed. Consider planting companion plants such as marigolds or herbs that can help to repel pests. Winter protection. In colder climates, rose plants can be damaged by freezing temperatures and harsh winter conditions. Protect your roses during the winter months by adding a layer of mulch around the base of the plant. Wrapping the plant in burlap or other protective material, and covering the roots with a layer of straw or leaves. Watering. Proper watering is essential for the health and growth of your rose plants. Water your roses deeply and regularly, ensuring that the soil is moist but not waterlogged. Avoid overhead watering, as this can promote fungal diseases. Use a soaker hose or drip irrigation system to deliver water directly to the roots, and water early in the day to allow time for the leaves to dry before evening. Fertilizing. Roses require regular fertilization to thrive and produce abundant blooms. Use a balanced fertilizer that is formulated for roses, and apply it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Fertilize your roses in the early spring, after the first flush of blooms, and again in the late summer or early fall. Mulching. Apply a layer of organic mulch around the base of your rose plants to help retain moisture, regulate soil temperature, and suppress weeds. Use materials such as wood chips, shredded leaves, or straw, and apply them to a depth of 2 to 3 inches. Avoid placing mulch directly against the stems of your roses, as this can promote fungal diseases. Pest prevention. Preventing pest problems before they occur is key to maintaining the health of your rose plants.
How to grow plants in the garden. Planting grass in your garden or yard is a great way to enhance the beauty of your outdoor space and create a lush, green landscape. Here are some tips and techniques for planting and caring for grass in your garden or yard. Choose the right type of grass. Different types of grass thrive in different growing conditions, so choose a type of grass that is suited to your climate and soil type. Warm season grasses, such as Bermuda and Zoysia, are best suited to hot, dry climates, while cool season grasses, such as fescue and bluegrass, thrive in cooler, moister climates. Prepare the soil. Before planting grass, prepare the soil properly by removing any weeds, rocks, or other debris, and tilling the soil to a depth of 6 to 8 inches. Amend the soil with organic material, such as compost or aged manure, to improve soil fertility and structure. Test the soil. Test the soil pH to ensure that it falls within the optimal range for grass, which is between 6.0 and 7.0. Adjust the pH as needed by adding lime or sulfur to the soil. Seed or sod. Choose whether to plant grass seed or sod. Seed is less expensive, but takes longer to establish and requires more maintenance. Sod provides an instant lawn, but is more expensive and may require professional installation. Planting grass seed. If planting grass seed, follow the instructions on the seed package for the best results. Sow the seed evenly over the prepared soil and rake lightly to cover the seed with soil. Water the seed lightly but regularly, keeping the soil moist until the seed has germinated and the grass has established. Laying sod. If laying sod, prepare the soil as you would for planting grass seed. Lay the sod in a staggered pattern, pressing each piece firmly into the soil. Water the sod regularly, keeping the soil moist until the grass is established. Watering. Water your grass deeply and regularly, ensuring that the soil is moist but not waterlogged. Water early in the day to allow time for the grass to dry before evening, which can help to prevent fungal diseases. Fertilizing. Grass requires regular fertilization to thrive and maintain its color and vigor. Use a balanced fertilizer that is formulated for your type of grass, and apply it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Aeration. Aerate your lawn annually to promote healthy root growth and improve soil structure. Use a core aerator to remove small plugs of soil from the lawn, which allows air, water, and nutrients to reach the roots more easily. Mowing. Mow your grass regularly to maintain its height and promote healthy growth. Set your mower to the appropriate height for your type of grass, and avoid cutting more than 1/3 of the grass height at a time. Use a sharp mower blade to ensure clean, even cuts. Weed control. Remove weeds from your lawn regularly to prevent them from competing with the grass for water and nutrients. Use natural or chemical methods to control weeds as needed. Disease prevention. Preventing disease problems before they occur is key to maintaining the health of your grass. Use proper sanitation practices, such as removing fallen leaves and debris, to prevent pests and disease from establishing themselves in your lawn. Shade tolerance. Some types of grass are more shade tolerant than others. If you have areas of your lawn that receive little to no sunlight, consider planting shade tolerant grass species, such as fine fescues. Sun exposure. Most grass species require a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight per day to thrive. If your lawn receives less sunlight than this, consider planting a shade-tolerant grass species or creating shade with trees or structures. Soil drainage. Grass prefers well-draining soil to prevent root rot and other problems. If your soil has poor drainage, amend it with organic material or consider installing drainage tiles or a French drain to improve soil drainage. Overseeding. Over time, grass can thin out due to foot traffic, disease, or other factors. Overseeding, which involves sowing grass seed over existing grass, can help to thicken the lawn and promote healthy growth. Lawn edging. Edging your lawn can help to define the boundaries of your lawn and create a neat, tidy appearance. Use a lawn edger or spade to create a clean, defined edge around your lawn. Mulching. Grass clippings can be left on the lawn after mowing to provide natural fertilization and reduce water evaporation. Consider investing in a mulching mower to chop up grass clippings and distribute them evenly on the lawn. Watering depth. When watering your lawn, water deeply to encourage healthy root growth. Water the lawn to a depth of 6 inches, and allow the soil to dry out slightly between waterings. Water conservation. Conserving water is an important consideration when caring for your lawn. Consider using a rain barrel to collect rainwater for use in watering your lawn, and choose drought-tolerant grass species that require less water. Grub control. Grubs, the larvae of beetles, can damage grass roots and cause brown patches in your lawn. Use natural or chemical methods to control grubs as needed. Winterizing. Properly preparing your lawn for winter can help to prevent damage and promote healthy growth in the spring. Fertilize your lawn in the fall, and continue to water it regularly until the ground freezes. Soil testing. Regular soil testing can help you to determine whether your lawn requires additional nutrients or other amendments. Test your soil every 3 years to ensure that it is properly balanced. Mower maintenance. Regular maintenance of your mower can help to ensure that it operates properly and provides a clean, even cut. Sharpen the mower blades regularly, and keep the mower deck clean to prevent buildup of grass clippings and debris. Weeding. Weeds can quickly overtake a lawn, stealing nutrients and water from the grass. Regularly pull weeds by hand, or use a weed eater or herbicide to keep them under control. Pest control. Insects such as grubs, chinch bugs, and ants can damage grass, so it is important to monitor for pest infestations and use appropriate methods to control them. Seeding rates. The recommended seeding rate for your grass will vary depending on the species and your climate. Check the recommended seeding rate on the package or with your local extension office to ensure you are planting the right amount. Soil compaction. Heavy foot traffic or machinery can cause soil compaction, which makes it difficult for grass roots to access water and nutrients.
How to use natural fertilizers to feed plants. Using natural fertilizers to nourish plants has become increasingly popular among gardeners and farmers alike. There are many advantages to using natural fertilizers, including improved soil health, reduced chemical pollution, and increased sustainability. In this article, we will explore the benefits of using natural fertilizers and provide some tips on how to use them effectively. What are natural fertilizers? Natural fertilizers are substances that are derived from natural sources such as animal waste, plant matter, and minerals. These substances contain essential nutrients that plants need to grow and thrive, including nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Natural fertilizers are typically slow release, meaning that they release nutrients gradually over time as the plants need them. Types of natural fertilizers. There are several types of natural fertilizers available, each with its own unique benefits. Compost. Compost is created by combining organic matter such as leaves, grass clippings, and food scraps. As the organic matter decomposes, it creates a nutrient-rich soil amendment that can be used to fertilize plants. Manure. Animal manure is a rich source of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. It can be used as a fertilizer on its own or combined with other organic matter to create a nutrient-rich compost. Bone meal. Bone meal is made from ground-up animal bones and is a good source of phosphorus. It is often used to promote root growth and flower production. Blood meal. Blood meal is made from dried animal blood and is a rich source of nitrogen. It is often used to promote leafy growth. Fish emulsion. Fish emulsion is made from ground-up fish and is a good source of nitrogen and other nutrients. It is often used to promote healthy plant growth. Seaweed. Seaweed is a rich source of trace minerals and other nutrients. It can be used as a soil amendment or added to compost to improve soil health. Benefits of using natural fertilizers. There are many benefits to using natural fertilizers to nourish plants. Improved soil health. Natural fertilizers help to improve soil health by adding organic matter, which increases soil fertility and helps to retain moisture. Reduced chemical pollution. Chemical fertilizers can leach into groundwater and cause pollution. Using natural fertilizers reduces the amount of chemical pollution in the environment. Increased sustainability. Using natural fertilizers promotes sustainable agriculture by reducing the reliance on fossil fuel-based fertilizers and chemicals. Cost-effective. Natural fertilizers can often be made at home or purchased at a relatively low cost. Tips for using natural fertilizers. Here are some tips for using natural fertilizers effectively. Test your soil before adding any fertilizer to your soil. It's important to test the pH and nutrient levels to determine what nutrients your plants need. Use the right type of fertilizer. Different plants require different nutrients, so it's important to choose the right type of fertilizer for your plants. Apply fertilizer at the right time. Natural fertilizers are typically slow release, so they should be applied early in the growing season to ensure that plants have the nutrients they need throughout the season. Use the correct amount. Over-fertilizing can harm plants and contribute to environmental pollution, so it's important to use the correct amount of fertilizer. Use in moderation. While natural fertilizers are generally safe for plants, using too much can harm them. It's important to follow the recommended application rates and use in moderation. In addition to using natural fertilizers, there are other ways to improve soil health and promote sustainable agriculture. These include crop rotation, cover cropping, and using integrated pest management techniques. Crop rotation involves planting different crops in a field each year to prevent soil depletion and reduce pest and disease pressure. Cover cropping involves planting cover crops such as clover or rye to add organic matter to the soil, prevent erosion, and improve soil structure. Integrated pest management involves using a combination of cultural, physical, and biological methods to control pests and reduce the reliance on chemical pesticides. By using natural fertilizers and adopting sustainable agricultural practices, we can promote healthy soil, protect the environment, and provide nutritious food for ourselves and future generations. Whether you're a home gardener or a farmer, there are many benefits to using natural fertilizers and practicing sustainable agriculture. With a little bit of knowledge and effort, we can all do our part to promote a healthy and sustainable future. Another important aspect of using natural fertilizers is the impact they have on the ecosystem. Chemical fertilizers can have negative impacts on soil microorganisms, insects, and other wildlife, disrupting the delicate balance of the ecosystem. On the other hand, natural fertilizers support a diverse and healthy ecosystem by providing nutrients and organic matter to the soil. This can lead to increased biodiversity and improved soil health, which can have long-term benefits for the environment. One challenge of using natural fertilizers is that they are often less concentrated than chemical fertilizers, meaning that larger quantities may be needed to achieve the same results. This can be a concern for large-scale agriculture, where the cost and logistics of transporting and applying large quantities of natural fertilizers can be prohibitive. However, for small-scale gardening and farming, natural fertilizers can be a cost-effective and sustainable option. When using natural fertilizers, it's important to pay attention to the source of the fertilizer to ensure that it is free of contaminants such as heavy metals or pathogens. This is particularly important when using animal-based fertilizers, such as manure or bone meal, as they can carry harmful bacteria or parasites. Using composted manure or bone meal can help reduce the risk of contamination. In addition to using natural fertilizers, it's important to practice good soil management techniques to maintain healthy soil. This includes avoiding overtilling, which can disrupt soil structure and lead to erosion, and maintaining a healthy balance of organic matter and soil nutrients. Planting cover crops, rotating crops, and using mulch can also help improve soil health and reduce the need for fertilizers. Using natural fertilizers can provide many benefits for plants, soil, and the environment. Natural fertilizers are derived from renewable sources, promote healthy soil and ecosystem, and can be cost-effective for small-scale agriculture. While there are challenges associated with using natural fertilizers, such as sourcing and transportation, these can be addressed through careful management and planning. By incorporating natural fertilizers into our gardening and farming practices, we can promote sustainable agriculture and a healthy environment for generations to come.
How to grow vegetables in small pots at home. Growing vegetables in small containers at home has become a popular and rewarding activity for many people. Whether you have a small balcony or a sunny windowsill, there are many ways to cultivate fresh produce in a small space. In this article, we will explore the ins and outs of growing vegetables in small containers and provide some tips for success. Choosing the right container. The first step to growing vegetables in small containers is to choose the right container. You can use a variety of containers, including pots, buckets, or even plastic containers. When selecting a container, it is important to consider the size of the plant you want to grow. For example, a tomato plant requires a larger container than a small herb like basil. In addition to size, you should also consider the material of the container. Clay pots are attractive and porous, allowing for better air circulation, but they can be heavy and expensive. Plastic containers are lightweight and affordable, but they do not allow for good air circulation. You can also repurpose items such as old tires or barrels as containers. Preparing the soil. Once you have chosen your container, you will need to prepare the soil. It is important to use high-quality soil that is nutrient-rich and well-draining. You can purchase soil mixtures specifically designed for container gardening, or you can create your own mixture using compost, peat moss, and vermiculite. Before planting, it is important to ensure that the soil is properly moistened. Water the soil thoroughly and allow it to drain before planting your seeds or seedlings. Choosing the right plants. When it comes to choosing the right plants for your small container garden, it is important to consider the amount of sunlight your plants will receive. Most vegetables require at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight per day, so be sure to choose a location that receives adequate sunlight. In addition to sunlight, you should also consider the space your plants will need. Some vegetables, such as cucumbers and squash, require a lot of space to grow, while others, such as herbs, can be grown in small containers. Planting and maintenance. Once you have chosen your plants and prepared your soil, it is time to start planting. Follow the instructions on your seed packets or seedling labels to ensure that your plants are properly spaced and planted at the appropriate depth. In addition to planting, you will need to provide regular maintenance for your plants. This includes watering, fertilizing, and pruning as needed. Be sure to monitor your plants for pests and diseases, and take appropriate action if necessary. Harvesting your vegetables. As your plants grow and mature, you can begin harvesting your vegetables. Be sure to pick your vegetables at the appropriate time to ensure the best flavor and texture. Most vegetables will continue to produce throughout the growing season, so you can enjoy fresh produce all summer long. In addition to the tips above, here are some additional things to keep in mind. When growing vegetables in small containers at home, watering, proper watering is crucial for the success of your container garden. Containers tend to dry out faster than garden beds, so it is important to water your plants regularly. However, be careful not to overwater, as this can lead to root rot. Water your plants when the soil feels dry to the touch, and make sure the water reaches the root zone. Fertilizing. Container-grown plants need regular fertilization to thrive. You can use a slow-release fertilizer or a liquid fertilizer every few weeks. Be sure to follow the instructions on the fertilizer label to avoid overfeeding your plants. Pest control. Container-grown plants are more susceptible to pests than garden-grown plants, so it is important to keep an eye out for common pests like aphids, spider mites, and whiteflies. You can use organic pest control methods like neem oil or insecticidal soap to control pests. Companion planting. Companion planting is the practice of planting different plants together to benefit each other. For example, you can plant herbs like basil or chives with tomatoes to repel pests and improve flavor. You can also plant flowers like marigolds or nasturtiums to attract beneficial insects like bees and butterflies. Season extension. If you live in a cooler climate, you can extend your growing season by using a hoop house or cold frame to protect your plants from the elements. This will allow you to start your garden earlier in the spring and continue growing into the fall. Sunlight. As mentioned earlier, most vegetables require at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight per day. If you have limited sunlight in your home, consider using artificial grow lights to supplement natural light. Position the lights above your plants and keep them on for 10 to 14 hours a day. Transplanting. If you are starting your plants from seeds, you may need to transplant them to larger containers as they grow. This will provide them with more space and nutrients to continue growing. When transplanting, be sure to handle your plants gently and avoid damaging the roots. Temperature. Temperature is another important factor to consider when growing vegetables in small containers. Most vegetables prefer temperatures between 60 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, so be sure to keep your plants in a location with a consistent temperature within this range. Soil depth. Different plants require different soil depths to grow properly. For example, shallow-rooted plants like lettuce or spinach can be grown in containers as shallow as 4 to 6 inches. While deep-rooted plants like carrots or potatoes require deeper containers of at least 12 inches. Harvesting. When harvesting your vegetables, be sure to use clean, sharp scissors or shears to avoid damaging the plants. You can harvest leafy greens and herbs as soon as they are mature, while other vegetables like tomatoes and peppers should be allowed to ripen fully on the plant before picking. To rotate your plants from year to year. This means planting different vegetables in the same container or location each year. You can also plant cover crops like clover or peas to add nitrogen to the soil and improve soil health. Drainage. Good drainage is essential for container-grown plants. Learn about soils and fertilizers for growing plants. When it comes to growing healthy plants, choosing the right soil and fertilizer is crucial. Different plants have different soil and nutrient requirements, so it's important to understand the different types of soil and fertilizers available and how to use them to support plant growth. Types of soil. Sandy soil. Sandy soil is made up of large particles and has a gritty texture. It drains quickly and is easy to work with, but it does not hold moisture or nutrients well. Sandy soil is best for plants that do not require a lot of moisture, such as cacti or succulents. Clay soil. Clay soil is made up of small particles and has a sticky texture. It holds moisture and nutrients well, but it drains slowly and can become compacted. Clay soil is best for plants that require consistent moisture, such as ferns or hostas. Loamy soil. Loamy soil is a mixture of sand, silt, and clay particles, and is considered the ideal soil for plant growth. It holds moisture and nutrients well, but also drains well and is easy to work with. Most plants can thrive in loamy soil. Acidic soil. Acidic soil has a pH level below 7.0, and is best for plants that prefer an acidic environment, such as blueberries or azaleas. Acidic soil can be amended with sulfur or pine needles to lower the pH level. Alkaline soil. Alkaline soil has a pH level above 7.0, and is best for plants that prefer a more alkaline environment, such as lavender or sage. Alkaline soil can be amended with lime or wood ash to raise the pH level. Types of fertilizers. Organic fertilizers. Organic fertilizers are made from natural materials like compost, manure, or bone meal. They release nutrients slowly over time and improve soil health. Organic fertilizers are a great choice for organic gardening and are safe for the environment. Inorganic fertilizers. Inorganic fertilizers are made from synthetic materials and release nutrients quickly. They can be tailored to specific plant needs and are easy to use, but they can also harm the environment if not used properly. Slow-release fertilizers. Slow-release fertilizers are designed to release nutrients slowly over a period of time, reducing the risk of over-fertilizing and nutrient runoff. They are available in both organic and inorganic forms. Liquid fertilizers. Liquid fertilizers are mixed with water and applied directly to the plant or soil. They are quick and easy to use, but can be expensive and require frequent applications. Foliar fertilizers. Foliar fertilizers are sprayed directly onto the leaves of plants and are absorbed through the foliage. They are a quick way to provide nutrients to plants, but should be used sparingly to avoid leaf burn. Compost. Compost is a rich, organic material made from decomposed plant matter. It is a great source of nutrients for plants and helps improve soil structure and fertility. You can make your own compost by collecting kitchen scraps, yard waste, and other organic materials and allowing them to decompose over time. Bone meal. Bone meal is a type of organic fertilizer made from crushed animal bones. It is a great source of phosphorus and calcium, which are important nutrients for plant growth. Bone meal is especially beneficial for flowering and fruiting plants. Blood meal. Blood meal is another type of organic fertilizer made from dried animal blood. It is a good source of nitrogen and helps promote healthy leaf growth. Blood meal should be used sparingly, as it can burn plants if overapplied. Fish emulsion. Fish emulsion is an organic liquid fertilizer made from fish byproducts. It is a good source of nitrogen and other nutrients, and is especially beneficial for leafy green vegetables. Fish emulsion should be diluted before use, as it has a strong odor. Green manure. Green manure is a type of cover crop that is grown specifically to improve soil health. Legumes like clover or beans are often used as green manure, as they fix nitrogen in the soil and help break up compacted soil. Seaweed fertilizer. Seaweed fertilizer is a type of organic fertilizer made from seaweed. It is rich in micronutrients like iron, zinc, and manganese, and is a great source of potassium, which helps promote strong root growth and overall plant health. Seaweed fertilizer can be applied directly to the soil or used as a foliar spray. Mushroom compost. Mushroom compost is a type of organic fertilizer made from the byproducts of mushroom cultivation. It is rich in nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and helps improve soil structure and water retention. Mushroom compost should be used sparingly, as it can be high in salts and can burn plants if overapplied. Worm castings. Worm castings are a type of organic fertilizer made from the waste produced by earthworms. They are rich in nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and help improve soil structure and fertility. Worm castings can be applied directly to the soil or used as a foliar spray. Rock dust. Rock dust is a type of organic fertilizer made from finely ground rock minerals like basalt or granite. It is a great source of micronutrients like calcium, magnesium, and iron, and helps improve soil structure and fertility. Rock dust should be applied to the soil and worked in thoroughly before planting. Synthetic fertilizers. Synthetic fertilizers are made from chemical compounds and provide plants with essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They are often used in commercial agriculture, but can also be used in home gardening. Synthetic fertilizers should be used with caution, as overuse can harm plants and contribute to environmental pollution. When choosing a fertilizer, it's important to consider factors like plant type, soil type, and nutrient requirements. Organic fertilizers are a great choice for home gardeners who want to minimize their environmental impact and improve soil health. While synthetic fertilizers are a more convenient option for those who need to provide specific nutrients to their plants. In addition to fertilizer type, it's also important to consider fertilizer application methods. Granular fertilizers should be worked into the soil before planting, while liquid fertilizers can be applied directly to the soil or used as a foliar spray.
Learn about soils and fertilizers for growing plants. Growing your own vegetables at home can be a rewarding and satisfying experience, but for beginners, it can be overwhelming to choose which vegetables to grow. Here are 10 of the easiest vegetables to grow for beginners. Radishes. Radishes are one of the fastest growing vegetables and can be ready to harvest in as little as 25 days. They prefer cooler temperatures and well-drained soil, and can be grown in containers or directly in the ground. Lettuce. Lettuce is a cool season crop that can be grown in spring or fall. It prefers well-drained soil and regular watering. There are many different varieties of lettuce to choose from, including leaf lettuce, romaine, and butterhead. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are a popular vegetable that can be grown in containers or in the ground. They require full sun and well-drained soil, and should be staked or caged to support their growth. There are many different types of tomatoes to choose from, including cherry tomatoes, beefsteak, and heirloom varieties. Green beans. Green beans are an easy-to-grow vegetable that can be grown in containers or in the ground. They prefer well-drained soil and full sun, and can be harvested in as little as 50 to 60 days. Peppers. Peppers are a warm season crop that can be grown in containers or in the ground. They prefer well-drained soil and full sun, and should be staked or caged to support their growth. There are many different types of peppers to choose from, including bell peppers, jalapenos, and habaneros. Cucumbers. Cucumbers are a fast-growing vegetable that can be grown in containers or in the ground. They prefer well-drained soil and full sun, and should be trellised to support their growth. There are many different varieties of cucumbers to choose from, including slicing cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, and English cucumbers. Carrots. Carrots are a root vegetable that can be grown in containers or in the ground. They prefer well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade. Carrots can take up to 70 to 80 days to mature, and should be harvested when the tops of the carrots are visible above the soil. Spinach. Spinach is a cool season crop that can be grown in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Spinach can be harvested in as little as 30 to 40 days, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest. Zucchini. Zucchini is a warm season crop that can be grown in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and full sun, and should be harvested when the fruit is small and tender. Zucchini can be prolific producers, so be prepared for a bountiful harvest. Herbs. Many herbs are easy to grow and can be grown in containers or in the ground. Popular herbs for beginners include basil, parsley, chives, and mint. Herbs prefer well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade. These 10 vegetables and herbs are a great place to start for beginners looking to start their own vegetable garden. They are easy to grow, require minimal maintenance, and can be grown in containers or in the ground. With a little patience and care, you can enjoy a bountiful harvest of fresh, healthy vegetables right from your own home. Beetroot. Beetroot is a root vegetable that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade. Beetroots can be harvested in about 8 to 10 weeks from planting, and the entire plant can be eaten, including the leaves. Scallions. Scallions are a type of onion that are easy to grow and require minimal care. They can be grown in containers or in the ground, and prefer well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade. Scallions can be harvested when the green tops reach about 6 inches tall. Kale. Kale is a cool season crop that can be grown in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Kale can be harvested in as little as 50 days from planting, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest. Swiss chard. Swiss chard is a leafy green vegetable that is easy to grow and can be grown in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Swiss chard can be harvested in as little as 50 days from planting, and the leaves can be harvested continuously throughout the growing season. Bush squash. Bush squash is a warm season crop that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and full sun, and can be harvested when the fruit is small and tender. Bush squash can be prolific producers, so be prepared for a bountiful harvest. Arugula. Arugula is a cool season crop that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Arugula can be harvested in as little as 40 days from planting, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest. Mustard greens. Mustard greens are a leafy green vegetable that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. They prefer well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Mustard greens can be harvested in as little as 40 days from planting, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest. Bok choy. Bok choy is a leafy green vegetable that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and partial shade to full sun. Bok choy can be harvested in as little as 50 days from planting, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest. Broccoli. Broccoli is a cool season crop that is easy to grow in containers or in the ground. It prefers well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade. Broccoli can be harvested in as little as 60 days from planting, and can be grown in succession for a continuous harvest.